I think in the detour itself, there really aren't things that I would change or shift or anything like that. I think the key has been just continuing to stay connected to God and what He has. Most of the time I could just take things one day at a time, 1 week at a time. Sometimes I could take it 1 month at a time, but it just depends. And in each thing that I face and each step that I take forward, just knowing that my priority has to be to follow Him. And that's where my mind has to be. And I think that's the one thing that very early on God impressed on me, that there were bigger things going on here than just cancer. That He was at work on the inside and the outside. I mean, honestly, that's one of the reasons that I play with cute scarves and I wear big earrings, because I don't want to be just that cancer girl. I don't want to be Candace who has cancer. And I'm afraid sometimes when people look at me, that's what they see. They see me and they see cancer. But there's more going on the inside. God is at work here in bigger ways. And so if I can put on a scarf and earrings and do my makeup, and when somebody asks me how I'm doing and I say good, and they can believe me just a little bit more, that's worth it. Because it's hard to show what God's doing on the inside, on the outside, when your body's getting beat up by treatment. But He is at work and He's doing good things. And I want to be able to share those good things with people.
So Candace, anything you want to say, anything that you would want to tell anybody about this experience that you'd want to be able to verbalize?
I think the ultimate for me is the reality that God trumps cancer any day. That's what it comes down to for me. That's the reality that keeps me going. As I think about my relationship with Him and how during this time it's had its ups and downs, but even in the past, how your relationship ebbs and changes. Like a true friendship, though, it's always there, no matter what. And that's the solid reality that keeps me going every day as I fight cancer. When the treatments are hard, my God's bigger. When the cancer is not responding the way I want it to the treatments, my God's still in control. When my fear is overwhelming, my God still is here with me. And that's ultimate reality. No matter what I face, my answer is going to be, but my God is. And that's ultimate for me. And that's how I fight cancer, and that's why I fight cancer, and that's why I keep following.
What is stage 4 cancer?
Stage 4 cancer basically means that it's not just in one place. A lot of times when doctors find cancer, they find it in a location, and you can treat it and remove it, and if you can get it out of the body, you can say someone is in remission or has no evidence of disease. The problem with stage 4 is that it started to spread beyond one location to multiple parts of the body, and then you can't really just get at it and take it out. So for me, I have stage 4 breast cancer, but it's in my lymph system and it's in my lungs. And so the reality of that and the reality of what stage 4 cancer really means is that someday I'll probably die from cancer. But I don't intend that to be anytime soon. So I've had chemo and radiation and more chemo and clinical trial drugs and anything we can get our hands on to treat this cancer, and to try to get it under control and dead and out of my body. so that it's not just running around wreaking havoc wherever it wants.
How did you find out about your cancer, and how did that come about to change your plans?
I was actually at a missions training session, a month-long session, and I started having some weird symptoms and things, and went to the doctor, and we were looking at possible infections, and I have a fairly rare form of breast cancer, even inflammatory breast cancer, so it's got weird side effects as well, and so there were lots of things we were looking into. Fortunately, in the course of 3 weeks, we went from not knowing what it was to a doctor saying, we need to get you a biopsy because it could be cancer, which was a complete shock. And honestly, went into that surgery going, they're going to go in there and find out it's an infection. I don't have cancer. Because when you're 27 and headed in a direction, you're not expecting it. No one expects it, but especially not me. And but we did the biopsy and we found out it was cancer. It was a rare aggressive form of cancer, and we immediately started treatment and chemotherapy, which I did for 20 weeks. And then we found out the cancer hadn't quite responded like we thought it was. And then so I did radiation and more chemotherapy and clinical trial drugs, and found out the cancer wasn't quite responding like we thought it should. So I'm in another round of chemotherapy, more aggressive treatments, and just one thing after another, just plugging away to find out what works to treat my cancer.
The theme of this youth conference this summer is about pursue. What would you tell anybody when that word comes into your mind, your heart, the concept of pursue?
First, I think I love the concept of pursue because it's going after something. And in as it relates to God, I love it for two reasons, because I think it has a twofold meaning. Because I'm very aware that God pursues me. He wants to be in relationship with me. He accepts me. He created me. The whole of who I am, He pursues that. And then in response, I choose to pursue Him. And so it's a great description of the two-way relationship that I have with God and that He wants to have with everyone.